So, we sit there and do the teachings of the Buddha. We talk about the Buddha's view about how things exist, about the mind, about suffering, about happiness. That's what it's all about, finally. But what happened? The result of all that is that you become what's called a Buddha. So, of course, this is where, when we talk normally, it sounds like psychology and it sounds interesting like philosophy. But as soon as we then think about what a Buddha is, then we're thinking we're getting into the realm of what we call religion. So, in many ways, it's just the same. It misses the beat all the time, so it didn't fix the problem at all.
Sorry.
Just letting you know, the microphone needs replacing, as Nicole said.
We have a new one.
There you go, that's right, she said. So, this other aspect of it, if we hear the word Buddha, like we said in the teachings, the word, I think it take too long, so I have to do a little prayer first. We just think we're going to do this little prayers and things together. I'll try and explain, we'll do it short. For the same reason that we listen to the teaching, so that we can develop our marvelous potential, so we can help others, thinking like that. Sangye Chorang Soke Chognam La, Janchu Badu Dagni Kyapsuchi, Dagi Jinso Gipa Sonam Ki, Drola Peche, Sangye Drupa Shol, Sangye Chorang Soke Chognam La, Janchu Badu Dagni Kyapsuchi, Dagi Chernyan Gipa Sonam Ki, Drola Peche, Sangye Drupa Shol. Sangye Chorang Soke Chognam La, Janchu Badu Dagni Kyapsuchi, Dagi Chernyan Gipa Sonam Ki. So really there's all these different aspects to Buddhism, especially so that there's the teachings, which is Buddha's views, Buddha's philosophy, Buddha's own experiential findings about the way things are, about human beings, about happiness, about suffering. That's what it is, Every time you hear the talking, the words about it. And that's the stuff that we put into practice in daily life. So, of course, the key to the thing here, as we said in the teachings yesterday, the end result of all this is you become a Buddha, Sangye in Tibetan. And Sang, like I said, the etymology of Sangye is very interesting. Sang implies the total eradication from one's mind of all the neuroses, all ego, all fears, all nonsense. And then Gye implies the development to perfection of all the goodness. So these words sound simple enough, but actually I think we can't conceive of what a person would be like if they had accomplished that. And that's where we get into what seems like, that sounds like religion now. So the idea is that the Buddha would say that mind is not physical. Okay, it's not physical. He doesn't use the word soul. So our consciousness, when he's saying we finally develop the Sangye, we become a totally enlightened Buddha, your consciousness would pervade the universe. You'd be absolutely a perfect being. And this is where it sounds like religion, but Buddha would say this is natural. This is something we can all become. It's the potential of every single tiny sentient being, every person. It's a question of doing the job, So the long-term result is that your consciousness, which is not physical anyway, will be completely perfected. And by this point, this is where it gets cosmic for us. We don't need a rebirth. Buddha talks about the consciousness coming from life to life to life. But this is really totally related to the whole Asian philosophical view of the universe, well before the Buddha. This view's been around for centuries, So the Buddha's saying our mind is not physical. When it's totally perfected, our consciousness, which is not physical, which is no longer encumbered by all the nonsense, then it pervades the universe. As Lama Zopa said one time, it's a bit like the concept of God, which of course is the Christian teaching, and there's only one of those, and God is the creator. The Buddha's view is that everybody has this potential, and we fully develop the result, our consciousness will pervade the universe, and we'll be full of wisdom, full of compassion, full of goodness. He says that's the natural potential of every single one of us. That's the potential of every single one of us. That's why he doesn't talk about a creator. There's no concept of a creator in Buddhism. We don't need creating as far as the Buddha's view is concerned. And this is coming from his own observation. He's not asking to believe this. All the literature is there. All his findings are there. It's up to us to engage in this process, So the job is to become a Buddha, a Sangye. Then our mind will be completely perfected. So what we're doing when we do this kind of thing is, given that there's lots of beings already have become Buddhas, their minds already exist. They might be in human form, they might not be. But these consciousnesses exist because the Buddha says consciousness is beginningless and endless. It doesn't have a beginning. There's no concept of a holy being who makes everything. There's no view like that in Buddhism. Buddha says our consciousness is beginningless and endless. Of course, that sounds pretty cosmic to us, but that's his own experiential findings. And when we've perfected our mind, then our mind is always existing. It can't not exist. And then we are a Buddha. And then, so these practices we do Just like in the Christian teachings, you pray to God. If you're a Catholic, you pray to Our Lady. You pray to the saints. There's many similarities, I think, actually. You know, so praying just means you're connecting with you're connecting with them. You know, because if you're a highly realized being, you're a Buddha. You have immense power. You're a highly developed being. You're fully enlightened. You have enormous power and capacity to help many sentient beings. So these kinds of practices were simply hooking into their energy. So these are literally what we call prayers. You know, there's many of these in Tibetan Buddhism. But these types of things you take on as and when you want, you know. The starting point is understanding the views, understanding karma, understanding the mind, and working on our mind every day, being our own therapist, as Amiyashi puts it. And these things we can do as we wish, you know, when we're ready. But it's basically practices. These aren't the main thing. The main job of being a Buddhist is to be your own therapist. The main job of being a Buddhist is to work on your mind. These are the practices you do that help you do that. You know, these aren't the essence of being a Buddhist. The job of working on your mind is the essence of being a Buddhist. And these are the practices that support us in doing that job. They're like extra, you know. And they also have the result of helping us become our own Buddha by connecting to other beings who already exist, by making all these aspirations and these wishes. Because prayer in Buddhism is really just like aspirations. May this happen. May I be this. May that. May all beings be happy. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. They're all part of the cause of becoming this. So here we're doing a particular series of prayers and practices that are related to a particular Buddha. There's many aspects of the Buddha called Dorji Chung in Tibetan. And it's in particular also we're doing these prayers in relationship to Dorji Chung, in whom we are imagining as oneness with our own spiritual teacher. That's the essence of it here. And we can talk maybe in the teachings between now and Sunday, we might go into this whole idea of a teacher, where that fits, what it means, you know. All right, that's a little explanation. So I've got a feeling we might do it just quite short. That's okay? You don't mind, people?
No.
All right. The boss doesn't mind, Nicole? She's the boss. Well, she quite realise she's the boss, but she's the boss. She's like the mother. She's the boss. So just because they're very nice tunes, we'll sing some of the tunes in Tibetan. You can just relax and enjoy. Of course, if we all sing off tune, it's terrible. But hopefully, we sing on tune, so it makes your mind happy. And sometimes we'll just do the words in English. You know, we'll just keep it very short, I think. Okay. Rakage sem chen nyang ine Jagjang kanam magen sem chenam Denge jisi janchu nyeng purba Lama control somla kyatsu jo Namo Guru Bhya Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guru Bhya Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guru Bhya Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya. Now you go to, just follow the LCs. We go to LC 4. Just keep turning pages so you see LC. LC 4. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I shall become a guru deity and place all sentient beings in the supreme state of a guru deity. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I shall become a guru deity and place all sentient beings in the supreme state of a guru deity. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I shall become a guru deity and place all sentient beings in the supreme state of a guru deity. For the sake of all other sentient beings, I shall quickly, in this very life, attain the state of a primordial Guru Idam Buddha. I shall free all other sentient beings from suffering and place them in the great bliss of Buddhahood. Therefore I shall now practice the profound path of Guru Idam Yoga. So now those who have received the highest chapter initiation, you do the three kayas meditation. Otherwise you just sit and contemplate for a moment, just contemplate the space in your mind, no thoughts, just for a moment, just observe your mind for a moment. From within great bliss I arise as a Guru Deity, and from my clear body, masses of light rays radiate into the 10 directions, blessing the world and its beings. All becomes perfectly arrayed with only infinite pure qualities. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Pure clouds of outer inner secret offerings obey the reaches of phasers in the sky, spreading out inconceivably. In essence, they are wisdom, knowledge, in aspect, inner offerings of various offering objects. As objects of the six senses, they function to generate a special wisdom, knowledge, of emptiness and bliss. Je Tong Yer Me La Lan Yang Pa Kun Zang Che Tin Tik Pe U Lo Ma Me Tong Je Bu Yon Se Je Gu Pak Sam Jen Pe Tse Zhong Ya Bar Wei Rin Chen Chi Teng Chu Kien Yi Da Ge Pe Teng Ka Jin Sun Den Sa Wei Lama San Ge Kun Yi Nyo Wo Ni Nam Pa Nyun Mi Xin Pe Ge Long Zhen Ching Chak Ni Zong Ka Chong Shagye Che Yun Pa Nyam Jag Du Tsi Yang Ke We Lung Ze Nam Gurs Und Dang Den Che Ge Sun Seul Se Dok Men Je Un Ze La Ze. We're doing English now. In your heart sits all-pervading Lord Vajradhara with a blue body, one face, two arms, holding Vajra and bell, embracing Vajradhari in Vajradhara Ishvari. You delight in the play of simultaneous bliss and void, are adorned with jeweled ornaments of many designs and clothed in garments of heavenly silk. Radiant with countless light rays, adorned with the major and minor signs, you sit in the Vajra position encircled by a five-colored rainbow. Your skandhas are the five sugatas, your four elements, the four consoles. Your 10 spheres, channels, sinews, and joints are actually bodhisattvas. Your hair paws are 21,000 arms, your limbs are protectors, the light rays, directional guardians, lords of wealth and attendants, while all worldly gods are cushions for your feet. Surrounding you in their respective orders sit the direct lineage gurus, yidams, hosts of Mandala deities, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, horas, and dakinis, encircled by an ocean of Dharma protectors. The three Vajras mark their three doors from whom hook light rays radiate to invite them from their natural abode separately abide. Though all things are totally free of inherent coming and going, still you arise through your virtuous conduct of wisdom and loving compassion. According to the dispositions of your various disciples, holy refuge saviors, please come forth with your retinue. Source of goodness and well-being throughout the three times, rooted in lineage gurus, yidams, three doors and refuge, heroes, dakinis, dharma protectors, and hosts of guardians, by the power of your compassion, come forth and abide at your time. Om Guru Guru Bodhisattva Dhamma. The wisdom and commitment beings become non-pure. Gangi Tuk Jede Wa Chen Pa Ying Kusung Go Man Sokyan Kechigna, Sazela Marin Chentabuku, George Chenja Pemor Chakselo, Rabjam Yerwa Kungi Yesheni, Gandul Cheyam Charwe Takinor, Yurmixin Pegagi Namrawa, Kyabgam Dampe Jabla Chakselo, Nekun Bakcha Chepa Jum Chumjik, Agmeyan Tenrishen Sokite, Pende Malujum Wego Chipu, Jetsun Lame Jabla Chakselo, Nekun Bakcha Chepa Jum Chumjik, Agmeyan Tenrishen Sokite, Pende Malujum Wego Chipu, Jetsun Lame Jabla Chakselo, Placetan Panye Kun Gino, Yeshiti Dom Zansu Jomwene, Patsok Kun Yuna Langyewa, Jinchen Lama Namla Chakselo, Juson Chok Tujuk Pela Madan, Rinchen Chok Dun Chaga Tamchela, Jechik Murpha, Peter Yang Yatsoche, Jindul Yampe, Luchul Chakselo. LC 23. Refuge saviors, perfect pure gurus, together with your retinues, I present you oceans of clouds of various offerings. From spacious, elegant vessels, radiant and precious, flow gently 4 streams of purified nectars. Flowering trees, garlands excellently arranged, and beautiful flowers fill the earth and sky. Blue summer clouds and blackest smoke from fragrant incense billow up to the heavens. Joyful dancing light from suns, moons, and glittering jewels and flaming lamps dispels a billion worlds' darkness. Scented water, imbued with fragrances of camphor, sandalwood, and saffron, collects into great lakes. Delicacies of gods and humans drink, and nourishing food of 100 flavors amass on Mount Meru. Music from the endless variety of various instruments fills the 3 realms. Goddesses of outer, inner, and desire objects holding symbols of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch pervade all directions. LC 32. Jewa Chage Lingji Lun Porche Rinchen Dundang Yewe Rinchen Sok Kunga Kiepe Nurture Kun Sum Sok Lami Long Churdagu Te Dangwe Senki Pujum Jingi Chon Kyamgan Tukje Tela By the merit of having offered this mantle unto the merit field, may I and all sentient beings be able to meet the pure wisdom teachings of the victorious one, which contains a biography of those eminent ones who live in pure morality, have the brave attitude to follow extensively the Bodhisattva's conduct, and practice the yogas of the 2 stages, the essence of which is the transcendental wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. May I and all sentient beings be able to meet this pure, complete teaching of Dhamma Sankappa, the unification of Sutra and Tantra, right this second. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Nashami truly Shinyat Sanyok Si Namke Namkale Om Chötseki Jamchok Yepe Kungi Chokshi Jikten Lederang Goson Gewen Metok Chitijanta Kunzan Chöpe Jisumbun Chojin Lapsum Rimni Lamye Tenpe Gatzel Jetsun Lamanye Chirmu. We offer a libation of China tea, saffron, bright, delicately perfumed, rich with 100 flavors. The 5 hooks, 5 lamps, and so forth are purified, transformed, and increased into an ocean of nectar. We offer illusion-like contours of youthful splendor, and skilled in the 64 arts of love. A host of beautiful messenger Dekinis, field-born, mantra-born, and simultaneously born. Unobstructed great wisdom, simultaneous with bliss, the sphere of the actual, unelaborated nature of all things. Spontaneous and indivisible beyond thought and expression. Supreme ultimate bodhicitta I offer to you. To cure the 404 affliction-caused diseases, I offer all kinds of potent medicines, and I offer myself as a servant to please you. Pray keep me in your service as long as space endures. Page 43. Before those having great compassion, I confess with regret and vow never to commit again whatever non-virtuous evil actions I've done throughout beginningless time, caused others to do, or in which I have rejoiced. Though all things are like a dream, lacking inherent existence, I sincerely rejoice in the bliss and joy of all areas and ordinary beings, and in every virtue that has ever arisen. So here, rejoicing, it sounds kind of a weird word. We don't think of rejoicing. It sounds a bit like Pollyanna, doesn't it? But what it is really marvelous. It's actually, it's really delighting in good qualities. It's instead of always criticizing, always finding fault, always seeing bad things outside, and forever in ourselves, always finding fault, never enough, always guilty. I did this, I did that. It's really quite rare, I think, we'd actually sit there and really delight and praise our good qualities. I think the only time we praise our good qualities is when we do it defensively. Well, I'm not as bad as they think. I'm much better than that. We're usually miserable when we say it. This is really literally mean to truly delight. So what should we delight in? Well, if you think of the world, if you think of the suffering world, unbelievable number of creatures, unbelievable number of humans with unbearable suffering in their lives, like unbelievable. And then look how unbelievably fortunate we are. But don't thank anybody for it. As we know, the Buddha's teaching will be this is due to our incredible past virtue. The fact that we even have a human body, the fact that we have anything, to even a grain of rice to call our own. This is a result of unbelievable morality in past lives, unbelievable generosity. That people believe our words, it's due to past not lying, due to people being kind to us. It's like, really, we take it all for granted. But this is the result of our own virtue. So we should be incredibly delighted, delighting in ourselves, and of course, delighting in the lives of others, delighting in all the amazing holy beings who are actually practicing, delighting in our friends, anybody who's got happiness on this planet, being delighted for people. It's a very powerful quality. So be just thinking like that. Though all things are like a dream, like we just said it, didn't we? Oh, sorry, yeah, okay. So now, okay, this one, it's requesting all the holy beings to teach, and they're requesting them to stay. Because, I mean, if we, on this Buddhist path, we need the teachings, and we need the teachers. So it's like this strong aspiration that we all stay, from life to life, we stay connected to the teachings, if that's what we want to do, as we do these two verses. Please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma from 100,000 billowing clouds of perfect wisdom and compassion to nurture, sustain, and propagate a garden of kunda flowers for the benefit and bliss of all limitless beings. Though your rugged body is subject to neither birth nor death, but is a vessel of the mighty King of unification, please abide forever according to our wishes, not passing beyond sorrow until samsara ends. I dedicate the mass of white virtues thus created so that I may be inseparably cared for in all my lives by perfect pure gurus who are kind in three ways and to attain to the unified state of Vajradhara. And now, page 55. Source of virtue, great ocean of moral discipline, treasure, forever brimming with jewels of much hearing, the master, second Buddha, clad in saffron, elder, Vinaya holder, I make request to you. You have the 10 qualities suitable for one to teach the path of those gone to bliss. Lord of Dharma, representing all conquerors, Mahayana Guru, I make request to you. You are wise, patient, honest, without pretense or guile. Your 3 doors was subdued. You have both sets of 10 qualities, no tantra and rituals, and are skilled in drawing and explaining. Foremost Vajra holder, I make request to you. To those untamed by countless past Buddhas, but the unruly migrations of the degenerate age who are difficult to subdue, you show unmistakably the good way of those gone to bliss, compassionate refuge Saviour, I make request to you. At this time when the sunlight teaching of the sage is setting, you enact the deeds of a conqueror for the many beings who lack a Saviour refuge. Compassionate refuge Saviour, I make request to you. Any one of your hair pauses for us a field of merit most highly praised, that all the conquerors in 3 types in 10 directions. Compassionate refuge Saviour, I make request to you. Adorned with Sagata's 3 bodies, you manifest from the alluring net of skillful means, in order to reform to lead all beings. Compassionate refuge Saviour, I make request to you. Your aggregates, elements, sense bases, and limbs are in nature as regards and consorts of the 5 families, bodhisattvas and wrathful protectors, supreme guru, essence of the 3 jewels, I make request to you. Arising from the play of omniscient, pristine awareness, you are the essence of 10 million mandala cycles, pervading Lord of 100 Buddha families, foremost Vajra holder, unified primordial Saviour, I make request to you. Unobscured, inseparable to the play of simultaneous bliss, pervading everything in motion and at rest, the nature of all things, free from beginning or end, Samanta Vajra, actual ultimate bodhicitta, I make request to you. So we do this, it's called a special one-pointed request. We'll sing one time in Tibetan and twice in English. Okay, usually what happens when you do this tradition, you have the person who leads the chanting is called the umze, and usually the tradition is they lead the first phrase, and then you join in. That's the tradition. So you know from next time when Venerable Tenma learn. You let her sing the first phrase, and then everybody else joins in. Kyani lama, kyani dam, kyani kajo, chokyonte, denne You are my gurus, you are my yidams, you are my kivis and our protectors. From now till enlightenment I shall seek no refuge other than you. In this life, the Buddha, and all future lives, hold me with your hook of compassion. Free me from samsara and nirvana's fears, grant all attainments. Be my constant friend and guard me from interferences. You are my gurus, you are my yidams, you are the dakinis and our protectors. From now to enlightenment I shall seek no other refuge than you. In this life, the Buddha, and all future lives, hold me with your hook of compassion. Free me from samsara and nirvana's fears, grant all attainments, be my constant friend, and guard me from interferences. By the force of having thus requested 3 times, nectar and light rays, white, red, and dark blue, stream forth from the places of my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and dissolve into my own 3 places, one by one and all together. The 4 obstacles are purged, the 4 pure empowerments, and the seeds of the 4 fires are received. A replica of the Guru happily dissolves into me, and I am blessed with inspiration. So we now do this special blessing of this on the altar here, this particular type of offering, tog. We usually only learn about it if we've taken the highest tantra initiations, you know. So in general, though, it's said to be a very, very unusual and precious kind of offering. It mightn't be evident to us initially. We need to learn about it, you know. So normally, so it's yeah. So then and the key thing to success here, if we've had any teachings at all about emptiness, the key thing is to really have the understanding that things don't exist the way they appear. According to this whole level of teachings, you know, our suffering is because we have a very mundane view of things. So we try to sort of lift our kind of view here to see things as transcendental. It sounds a bit abstract to us, perhaps. We're blessing this to make it this delicious nectar. So when we eat, when we all taste this, we offer it around. Everybody shares it like a party, you know. But the idea is to try not to eat it with attachment. Lama Yesi told one of our friends, Owen Cole, that to eat tog with attachment, he says it's better to drink molten iron than to eat tog with attachment. He told Owen Cole that, no. So that might be a bit weird to us, but never mind. Just hear it. You'll get the teaching on it later. Don't worry. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Pure clouds of outer inner secret offerings and fields of vision. The teachings of the riches of space, earth, and sky. So you can see in essence our wisdom, knowledge, in aspects, inner offerings, and various offering objects. With enjoyment of the 6 senses, they function to generate the special wisdom, knowledge of bliss and voidness. Emaho, the grand play of wisdom, knowledge, all realms of Vajra fields and all structures, majestic Vajra palaces, oceans of clouds of some Vajra offerings, blaze forth, all desired wealth is endowed with glory, all beings and actual viewers and their knees. There's not even a word impurity or flaw, all is infinitely pure. Whom within Dharmakaya or mental fabrication still above a turbulent wind and blazing fire and tripod of 3 human heads, within a proper human skull cover, all each substance brilliantly shines above them, all marvel. Each sparkles with brilliant colour, wind, news, fire, blazing substance melt and boil. Vapour rises up until the 3-legged hosts of light rays radiate out of 10 directions, drawing back the 3 vajras and nectar, which dissolve into the respective letters. They melt into nectar and blend with the essences, purified, transformed into increased and Maho. It becomes an ocean of beauty and evidence. Oh Maho. Compassionate nature, rooted lineage gurus, assembly of yidams and individuals of refuge, bearers and dakinis, hosts of protectors and guardians, I request you to come to this offering site. Amidst an ocean of clouds, the secret offerings of the beautiful throne made of jewels, holy pleasure, radiance, should be considered grant me every desire and attainment. Blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Puja, this ocean of offering, feast of uncontaminated nectar we offer to please you, hosts of original lineage gurus, contented by enjoying an abundance of everything desirable, for the great rain of blessings. Oh, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Puja, this ocean of offering, feast of uncontaminated nectar we offer to please you, hosts of powerful Vimagya. Next verse. Oh, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Puja, this ocean of offering. Next verse. Feast of uncontaminated nectar we offer to please you, hosts of Yudam's deities, and your retinues, O Maha. Contented by enjoying an abundance of everything desirable, and Maha, for the great rain of the same men. Oh, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Puja, this ocean of offering, feast of uncontaminated nectar we offer to please you, hosts of precious jewels of refuge, contented by enjoying an abundance of everything desirable, and Maha, for the great rain of holy Dharma. Oh, blessed by Samadhi, Mantra, and Puja, this ocean of offering, face of uncontaminated nectar, we offer to please you, hosts of dakinis and our protectors. Contented by enjoying an abundance of everything desirable, and a great rain of enlightenment activity. Oh, blessed by Samadhi, mantra and move to this ocean of offering peace and and nectar. We offer to please you, host and mother, sentient beings on my home. Intended by enjoying an abundance of everything desirable in my home. Please dispel the suffering rising from deceptive appearances. I don't know if it's inauspicious, but we can just do it one time. It's enough. Okay. So now, Jackie's auspicious, I think you offer. Whoever else has taken high sugar transfusion, you've taken high sugar transfusion. So then the two of you offer, please. We're going to offer to the monk. Please stand up. And you can prostrate if you can. And where's the Nicole? Where's the sovereign? Can you please offer to them? So one of you hold the one special one, and then the other one hold both the others. No, you just have to offer them to them. Give it to them. Don't prostrate. They have to prostrate. No need to be long prostrates, just ordinary short ones is fine. And then we offer to, as if we're offering to the Lama, as if the Lama's right here. Have you got, show me, come over here, darling, let me see. What have you got? But where's the meat and the alcohol? No, this one too, this one too. No, give that one to, give that the main one to Jackie. And she can stand in the front. And then the other one, where are you? Where's she gone?
She's coming.
Is she? No, not, yeah, that's right. Behind. Yeah. Behind Jackie. And up above your face, is this right? Emma Hotsoki Koloche Jusunde Shek Shek Shulte Nadrum Malu Jumwene Deta Shene Pawoche Nampa Tope Sembone Soki Kologundural. I think we just put on the altar or something somewhere there, right on there next to them. That's right. That's it. And then you offer. You go around offering this one in a second. Wait. Just wait a second. So then the master happily accepts. Oh, I visualize myself as a guru. You know, I'm in nature inseparable from the three vajras. I have the sacred wisdom nectar home without moving from bodhicitta. I enjoy to satisfy the days with my body. Aho Mahasukha. So you just offer around those who've received initiation only. Can't see it. Okay. Have you received? You would have received, wouldn't you? Yes, please. To Gail, with the green shirt. Oh. Okay, just leave on the altar. Please put it back on the altar. Up here, sweetheart. Yeah. Right. Okay. So now we finish. We leave the swing queen alone. And we now distribute everything. Lighting on. Venerable Robina said we should distribute every single crumb to everybody. And we put it on a plate, and we think of it as delicious nectar, okay? Transcendental, not bananas and apples and chips and chocolate. So you're not supposed to discriminate. You should see it all as one taste. So you shouldn't be discriminating as something ordinary and something, okay?
Pass them around to others. Take one bag and the other.
Yes, you take that one and I'll pass it up.
And all have a little taste and eat it with no attachment, okay? And you shouldn't offer it to your animals. You shouldn't put it on the ground. You should treat it with great respect. And then even the papers, if you have any of the offering on it, you shouldn't just tuck it in the bin, okay? Okay.
It's the bowl.
So now we just finish with a short labyrinth prayer. Have you got a short labyrinth prayer in here or not? What do the long one? Where's it? Just do we have, can you give me a prayer book? Can I have a prayer book, please, with the other labyrinth prayers in it? And I'll just read it out. Okay, when you all settle down, do we have a cup of tea for everyone? Nicole? Do you offer tea for everyone now? You should. That's a really wonderful habit too. You stop, you order a cup of tea, and you have a little chat. It's a very nice party. That's always a tradition. I don't know how it didn't get passed on to you. I know, I don't want it. So you should always have a nice cup of tea, something delicious for people. You can sit and have a little gossip. That's what they do. That's the tradition. It's sad it got lost. So you start it next time. A big thermos of delicious tea. Because you're supposed to have your party. This is the centre offering a little party to everybody. So of course you'd always offer a drink, wouldn't you? Don't you have any soft drinks? Nothing. Nothing. So at least you have something delicious. But you have a delicious, like a little, yeah, you must. Something, when you stop, you eat, you have a little bit, you'll chat away, then we finish the puja. So now we'll finish the puja. This is short, we're nearly finished, okay? So, okay, give everybody a coffee, good idea. Let me find the measure. We'll just do a short labyrinth prayer, and then we're done, okay? Short, finished. Out of here. Okay. If this were Mama Zopa doing it, we'd start at 7 in the morning and be doing it 7 at night. We'd be going for 12 hours, I promise. So you can take your lucky stars.
Robina's 5 minutes. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of more Lamieshi style, aren't I, Jackie? Mama would whiz through it and do it really quickly.
3 times faster.
Huh?
Yeah, right.
That's right, 3 times faster, exactly right. And nothing wrong with that. Let's see what we can do. A short labyrinth prayer, okay? A short labyrinth prayer. Okay, page 137 in the gold book. Okay? 137. Okay? The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of negative and positive karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always be careful to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures is the door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all other migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in superior bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly, within my mind stream, the unified path of karma binding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives, and bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from pure perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Now we do the dedication at the end, the dissolution and dedication. Or we're going to do the offerings, the leftovers. So someone please collect all the leftovers. Well, this little practice is because the Buddhists talk about there are lots of beings everywhere, not just the humans that we see. Let me just explain first. Let me explain first, Nicole. Let me explain first. When you're all ready, I'll explain. Okay. Okay. So the Buddhist view, as we know, is that there are billions of sentient beings, not just the humans, not even just the ants and the dogs out there, but there are so many other beings, and many beings they call spirits, who are really unhappy people. They're not very happy, and they get very possessive and jealous, and they can be very harmful. That's how they talk. So then to placate them, to make them feel that they're part of the party, so they don't get jealous and upset and make us miserable, so we offer leftovers to them. That's the idea. So you just have a mouthful of something that you've taken, then offer a little bit, just a little bit in the bowl, a little tiny bit, a crumb, a piece of it, just some little bit, and offer in the bowl. And then the beings, they say that the spirits can get the essence from it. We leave it upstairs and they can get the essence, they say like that.
Yes, of course.
Oh, I can't buy it.
That's fine, John, don't worry.
If it's open, do you want me to put the rest in?
Collect everybody else first, and you end up here. You need to stick it incense because it's dark. You need to stick it incense because it's dark. They won't see you and they'll be upset. So you're going to have to stick it incense so they can see it. That's how they. In the daytime, you don't need the incense. You light it. The plan is to light it. That's okay. A little bit's fine. It's fine. No, stick it inside so it kind of functions and light.
Stand.
Oh.
No, stand.
Robina, Hendren puts the leftover bottle in Magna.
Yes, you should also.
The brown
That's
one
right.
would all the key.
And
Leftovers in the altar. Some of the counts I do.
Hung, impure false appearances. It's page 75. It's back in our ordinary book. Impure false appearances are purified and emptied as are the sublime nectar, achieved by wisdom and knowledge. All becomes a vast ocean of all desire. Blessed by Samadhi, mantra, and moved to this ocean and remain in the soul of uncontaminated nectar. We offer to please you, host of the Earth banquet. Om Hum, contained by the joy and abundance of everything desirable. Om Hum. May your activities be properly accomplished. For remaining guests of your retinue, accept this ocean, remaining from the friends and teaching spread, and is not hold the favors and helpers, especially the yogis all gain health, long life and power, glory, fame, good fortune, stability, attainment of every desirable thing. Bestow on us accepted activities, such as sanctification, preaching, and for O star protectors, protect us from understanding or accomplishment. Eliminate our time, we bear sickness, demons, and interfering spirits, let them eliminate our getting to us, mental calamities. Let the world be happy, prosper, good, harvest, increase, and dharma flourish. Let all happiness and goodness arise, and all wishes in our minds be fulfilled. By the force of this bountiful giving, may I become a self-made Buddha for the sake of beings, and by my generosity may I liberate the being, multitudes of beings not liberated by previous Buddhas. And now we go to page 99. LC 115. Thus, having entreated Supreme Gurus, pray grant this request so you may bless me happily alight on the crown of my head, and once again set your radiant feet firmly at the corolla of my lotus heart. Imagine just all the Buddhas have been present, that kind of completely bless our energy, dissolve into us and make us very blissful. Imagine that for about a minute. Full of the energy of all the Buddhas. My own potential, imagine. Now, next page. Whatever white virtues have not created, our dedicated causes enabling me to uphold the holy Dharma of scriptures and insights and fulfill without exception the prayers and needs of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 3 times. By the force of this merit, may I never be parted from my lives and my Mahayana's 4 seers, and may I reach the end of my journey along the path of renunciation, the bodhicitta, pure view, and the 2 stages. Sijinam kaji neke tsengi, dengni mishi kupa kundelte, nekata tugelek nam ketu, punsok pelarute tashisho, kunkien lo zanjak pecho kide, zabsunam date chijublatso, Nel Jojong so Kiyongo Gangway Chokyan Du Ne Pecha Shisho Janu Du Ne Lamata Chogla Salwata Pe Lozan Drakpai Jin Lab Jug Ne Jen Jung Lungi Drug Lozan Doje Changi Chashisho Jagu jorwa ki son te appel, pian me ki del drog yun cheme, nien sen los andam petro ki, pedat un so pelara pe jashisho. Dag sog nam ki, oh, it's wrong, hang on. It's the wrong one. Sorry. Jag sog nam ki dene jang chubar ki dang ki gur kewachi sakpa jing dir jetsun dampe Enough. Keep it short and sweet. Okay. I don't know if you wanted more, but there we go. It's done. We're going to finish with that. Big Seven, where is it?
37 in the gold book.
All right.
This one. Okay. So miss out the third line. You got it? All got it? Mig med sewe chen chen racing, Jime ken pe wang po jam pe liang, gan chen ke pe su kien chong kapa, lo san jak pe jak la sol wa de. Mig med sewe chen chen racing, Jime ken pe wang po jam pe liang, gan chen ke pe su kien song kama los andrak pe shabla solwadim lig me se we tu chen rezi di me ken pe wang po jam pe yang gan chen ke pe su kien song kama los andrak pe shabla solwadim. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.